In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite items that I picked up from Wetshaving in 2019, coming right up. Hello and welcome back. John here from Latherhog, and today I'll be sharing with you my list of favorite items that I picked up in Wetshaving in 2019. So I do apologize that this video is a little bit late, but better late than never. So without further delay, let's get right into the list. First up, for my favorite razor from 2019, it is Charcoal Goods. So this razor from Charcoal Goods is one of my only razors on the higher end of the spectrum for safety razors, and it just performs phenomenally. The level 2 is great for about 2 or more days worth of beard growth. The other thing, besides being a really efficient razor, is the weight and balance of this. In particular, this made me a believer in longer handles. This one, I think I reach for time and time again because it just does the job. I usually load it with a Gillette Silver Blue or a Pole Silver Super Iridium. So again, that was Charcoal Goods Level 2. Next up, I want to share some of my favorite brushes from 2019. And I love shaving brushes. If you look at my Instagram feed, you'll see a variety of brushes coming in and out. So I couldn't pick just one. In fact, I picked 3. And this one, it's a little bit of a cheat, and it was a gift from my wife last Christmas. But I didn't really get to familiarize myself with this brush until well into the new year, this past 2019. And that is my one and only Declaration knot in a Carnivus and Richardson titanium handle. So titanium handle, this thing is heavy, but it is also beautiful. And this is the B6 knot for those familiar with the different batches from Declaration. So this knot is hand-tied from Scott Stewart from Declaration Grooming, and what he'll do is really make the knot custom to the brush handle. I absolutely love it. I will say that maybe the handle is still like a little wonky to get used to because of the sheer weight, but this brush knot is just luxurious. There's not much more to be said about this knot than that it is probably the densest, softest knot that I've ever come across, and that I think any wedge shaver will come across. And it's definitely worth a try if you're at all an enthusiast, a hobbyist. The second brush I wanted to highlight is from Wild West Brushworks, and that is Sarsaparilla. And this was really hard to choose, at least this specific one, because I picked a bunch of Wild West Brushworks brushes this year. So it's got this great deep, rich brown resin in the top half, and then a beautiful translucent kind of amber looking material in the bottom. So one quick side note about this brush maker, Derek Wheeler and his family actually lost their home in a fire just before Christmas. And there is an ongoing fundraiser. It's organized by Ben Esposito from Mammoth Soaps. So I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in finding out more about that situation, or even more so if you're willing to kind of help Derek and his family out. The third and final brush I wanted to highlight was my brush from Grizzly Bay. And this is the Chub Cub shape. It's got this great cream and kind of surf green color, very vintage, very old school. Besides from kind of just great grip and great look, this brush helped me realize that my preference as far as aesthetics and not so much anything about performance is that these chubby style handles, I do think the best knot shape to go for in this case is bulb. So I tried it with a fan and tried with a bulb, kind of went back and forth a little bit, and finally settled on this knot right here. For whatever reason, to my eye, this just looks the most attractive. I think the look is just classic, and the silhouette is kind of completed by this bulb knot. All right, so next up, let's talk about soaps. First off, let's talk about soap bases. While it can be argued that there's a lot of hype behind all the soap bases, after trying a few of them, I do really think that there is marked improvement, and I did want to share with you 2 of them for today. So first up is Declaration Grooming Milk Steak. And I've talked, I've reviewed this soap, Massacre of the Innocents, but this is just such a great soap. It's on the softer side as far as the soaps out there, but it is really easy to lather. I think the hydration point, it could take a good amount of water, and it just has an excellent post-shave. And while not the be-all and end-all metric for shave soaps, I do think a really nice post-shave or a superb, stellar post-shave will set apart a certain shave soap from the pack. Of course, in addition to a good soap base, you need to have solid scents, and luckily Declaration Grooming has plenty of those. The other soap base that I want to mention is from Holy Cow, and that's their Ciaro soap base. Now, I tried Ciaro in the Fougere Mania scent, and unfortunately I don't have that on hand right now. It's on loan to a friend. This one just wowed me also kind of after the first use. The price point, I guess, is the one kind of barring factor that makes people hesitate a little bit to try it out. I do believe it hits a $30 mark. This is totally subjective, and for me, I would say that the performance is there to warrant that price. However, Fougere Mania is not one of my favorite scents. It's a nice scent. It's a more old school scent, and that's kind of why it's a like and not a love for me. But you can bet that I'm keeping a close eye on what 3 from Holy Cow is going to be releasing in the coming year, because if there is a standout scent that's in my wheelhouse, you can bet that I'll be picking it up. So again, for my favorite soap bases in 2019, that was Declaration Grooming Milksteak and Holy Cow Ciaro. Now let's talk about soap scents. Now this category is definitely one that's really hard to choose. After digging down deep inside, I settled on 2 soaps I want to talk about today. First up, I want to talk about a collaboration between Storybook Soapworks and Chatillon Lux, and that is Wetshaving. Now Wetshaving was one of 3 soaps as part of an exclusive to the Wetshaving Reddit. It's part of a Great Gatsby series, and while those scents were all kind of very interesting, very different from one another, this one stood out to me. So the scent behind Wetshaving is champagne, and it is meant to evoke kind of those lavish parties seen in the novel. It's got an effervescent, sparkling quality to it, as well as kind of a sweet grape note, but not saccharine, not candy-like. Besides being a really enjoyable fragrance, this soap has the distinction of garnering the only unsolicited compliment from my wife for any fragrance, in Wetshaving or just colognes and perfumes in general. But for Wetshaving, after I shaved with it and she smelled it on me, she right away asked, "What scent is that?" and kind of gave it a very, very hearty approval. So it's the only soap that has done that. I like it, so there's no way that this soap wasn't making the list. And that again is Wetshaving from Chatillon Lux and Storybook Soapworks. The second soap I want to talk about is from Murphy and McNeil, and that's Gala. And this one I wanted to share because it kind of put a spotlight on Creed Viking as a scent. And this one, although it's a duplication, it was a scent that kind of flew under the radar for me. In the fragrance world, a lot of people were hoping it would be the next Aventus. And when it wasn't quite that, it was something a little bit of a throwback, folks were pretty down on it. So what happened was, I was able to get a sample of the soap and splash from a local friend and decided to buy this because it really intrigued me. And I was a little surprised by it, to say the least. Now, initially when I smelled it, what Gala smelled like, at least one note reminded me, was toothpaste. Something a little bit sweet, something a little bit minty. But, I knew there was more going on there if I kind of worked past that. So I kept on using the sample, liked it enough to get the set. And from that, the enjoyment further escalated to the point where I picked up a decant as well as a sample clone of Creed Viking. But that fragrance wouldn't be part of my collection if it wasn't for this soap. And on top of that, Chicano Design did a great job on this label. Murphy and McNeil in general has been, producing some really, really great soap. And has also been releasing some really strong collaborations this past year. So bottom line is Gala has a bit of an old school quality to it, but there are notes in this scent that also kind of bring it to modern day. So I really enjoy kind of that dual nature found in this soap set. So that's Gala from Murphy and McNeil. So this next item I'm going to talk about is one of a kind. So this was kind of born out of a just random occurrence, probably from a live video from either Instagram or Facebook where I was showing some gear. And one thing I was showing was kind of this test tube holder that I use to hold my razors, just one I picked up from Amazon. And Ian from Lutin Brushworks said he could kind of put it through the process that he puts for his handles, which is basically shooting lightning through various woods and creating these kind of beautiful, unique patterns. So just to show you, it's going to be one of a kind. It's made up from multiple pieces of wood, so I think it's quite difficult to do, but Ian had such a good attitude about it. You know, it was an experiment for him. I certainly didn't mind, you know, sending this over to him to give a shot at it. And now, you know, I'm left with this great piece. Again, one of a kind, really unique. I loved his kind of enthusiastic spirit behind this project. So, you know, from Lutin Brushworks, it's my razor holder. Last but not least is my favorite shave bowl that I picked up this year. And this one's from Andre from Lancaster Razorworks. And Andre is someone that I got to meet at 2 different meetups this year in the Northeast. And we just got to talking, great guy, but I had heard great things about his shave bowl. And what I wanted to do was kind of do a different take on one of his patterns. So kind of there's a blood splatter thing going on here. And I think black in particular for ceramics is a little hard to work with, but I think this just came out beautifully. One thing to note too is that he puts nubs instead of kind of usually the ridges and lines that are inside the shave bowls. So those nubs make some killer lather. So while the majority of the time I do a face lather, when testing a new soap especially, I do think kind of putting the test in a bowl is the way to go. So once again, this is a shave bowl from Lancaster Razorworks. So that's my list of my favorite wood shaving items that I picked up in 2019. I want to thank you guys so much for your support for this channel, for my efforts on Instagram. I'm really excited where 2020 is going to take us. Some of you have checked out the new Lather Talk podcast with my co-host Gerard Castillo. We're really excited to see where we can take the podcast this coming year. And as for the Lather Hog channel on YouTube, you can definitely expect to see more razor reviews. I think those have been received really well. And of course, I still want to talk about fragrance. I just want to find out the best way to talk about that, you know, whether it's in soaps or colognes, perfumes. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what content you enjoyed, you didn't enjoy, what do you want to see more of. You know, that feedback is greatly helpful. So again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting this channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. And I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.